as we begin our worship and create some centering during this series and emergent strategies series, having some grounding and doing and practicing coming together and interdependence this morning. I'm going to invite us once again into collective tone making, and the instructions are, the process is the same on Zoom, virtually as it is in person. So the process is we are invited to be unmuted and make tones, make our own tone, and that will become part of the collective tone. So make a tone with a vowel sound or a note or some kind of a sound for the length of our breath. And when we conclude our breath, we can make that tone again with a new breath and listen to our own tone and listen to the way that that tone fits together with our collective tones. And so I invite us to do that for the length of a few breaths, starting now.
Please join me in the gathering words taken from Declaration of Interdependence by Richard Blanco. We are a mother's bread, instant potatoes, milk at a checkout line. We are her 3 children pleading for bubble gum and their father. We're the 3 minutes she steals to page through a tabloid, needing to believe even stars' lives are as joyful and bruised.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress.
We are the farmer who grew the corn, who plows into his couch a worn as his back by the end of the day. We are his TV set, blaring news, having everything and nothing to do with the field dust in his eyes or his son nestled in the arches of his arms. We're his son. We are a Black teenager who drove too fast or too slow, talked too much or too little, moved too quickly, but not quick enough. We are the blast of the bullet leaving the gun. We are the guilt and the grief of the cop who wished he hadn't shot.
We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
We are the cure for hatred caused by despair. We are the good morning of the bus driver who remembers our name, the tattooed man who gives up his seat on the subway. We are every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes, the way we behold the moon. We are the moon.
We are the promise of one people, one breath declaring to one another, I see you, I need you, I am you. Right, everyone, I invite you to join us in this song of gathering, in this circle. And first, I'll invite you to sing it with me in call and response, just so you can learn the tune if you're not familiar with it already. In this circle, kindred, in this circle, needing, in this circle, sweet connection, in this circle, deep peace. And now, together, we sing to ourselves. In this body, kindred, in this body, needing, in this body, sweet connection, in this body, deep peace. In this moment, kindred, in this moment, needing, in this moment, sweet connection, in this moment, deep peace. In this world, kindred, in this world, needing, in this world, sweet connection, in this world, deep peace.
Good morning, beloveds. Our service today includes work from our contextual thinking class. For a class session on formation, identity, and intersectionality, our contextual thinking class students were invited to participate in the Love Letters to Palestine project that had been initiated by students and faculty at the University of Massachusetts. Giving expression to their own understandings of decolonial justice and transnational solidarity, students were invited to write a love letter to Palestinian kin, or in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, to their local Indigenous kin. As part of our exploration of interdependence in conversation with the elements of emergent strategy identified by Adrienne Marie Brown, some of our students share their love letters today as part of our worship. So let us dwell with these expressions of interdependence as we seek to build transnational kinship.
How very good and pleasant it is when kindred dwell together in unity. It is like the precious oil on the head running down upon the beard of Aaron, running down over the collar of his robes. It is like the dew of Hermon, which falls on the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord ordained blessing, life forevermore.
To my Ohlone siblings. To those whose ancestors stewarded this land I live on long before my ancestors ever set foot on this continent. I pray that you would be seen, heard, validated, and loved. Loved in action, not in words of empty promise. I am listening and learning and will continue the work to decolonize myself more and more so that I might be the best ally I can be in repairing the damage myself and my colonizing siblings have done. As you lead in the building of a just and equitable tomorrow, I am committed to following you. And when you feel too weary to lead, I'll offer to stand in the gap. I see the violence perpetrated upon you behind the shroud of religiosity. I see the harm done to our planet as you've continually spoken out on her behalf. I see the dehumanization thrust upon you by colonizers throughout time. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are divine. Thank you for your voice. May we all have ears to heed your wisdom. And may those of us who have benefited from your colonization join you in the dismantling of these unjust systems. In solidarity and in love.
How shall we come together? We shall come together singing. When shall we come together? We shall come together now. How shall we come together? We shall come together singing. When shall we come together? We shall come together now. How shall we come together? We shall come together singing. When shall we come together? We shall come together now.
This excerpt comes from Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Murray Brown. Most of us are socialized toward independence, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, working on our own to develop, to survive, to win at life. Competition is the way we hone our skill and comfort with the opposite of mutual reliance. We learn to feel proud about how much we achieve as individuals, and sometimes to actively work to bring others down in order for us to get ahead. Humans are unique because we compete when it isn't necessary. We could reason our way to more sustainable processes, but we use our intelligence to outsmart one another. We compete for fun, for ego. The idea of interdependence is that we can meet each other's needs in a variety of ways, that we can truly lean on others and they can lean on us. In nature, everything works in collaboration. There are hummingbirds and flowers that are in such deep coordination that they need each other for survival. How vibrant and alive and successful could our movement be if we moved with such coordination and collaboration?
People of Palestine, know that the divine loves each of you. Let the divine's holiness and spirit surround you and fill you with love. May you feel the warmth of being held in those holy arms. You are not forgotten, and I see you. I keep you in my thoughts and prayers. I pray for justice. I also pray for the leaders and the people of Israel. I pray for the Israelis to become the loving and caring people that the Holy One wants them to be in the world. The divine is amongst you in your struggles. You are not alone. Remember that you are also part of an extensive network of decolonizers working to bring justice to your country and other countries. Thinking of all the sisters and brothers working in solidarity brings more strength to the worldwide movement. May these words and prayers be a balm to keep you and your family steadfast in your efforts to be seen. Please know we are with you in spirit and in love.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together praying.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together praying.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together praying.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
Let love be genuine. Hate what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Do not lag in zeal. Be ardent in spirit. Serve God. Rejoice in hope. Hold fast in suffering. Persevere in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the community. Extend hospitality to strangers. Bless those who fight against you. Bless, do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Do not claim to be wiser than you are. Do not repay anyone evil for evil, but take thought for what is noble in the sight of all. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all.
Beloved Nisanan sister, I think about you whenever I stumble into a tiny corner of wilderness within this city. I try, knowing I cannot succeed, to feel you there 500 years ago. I squint and imagine the boundaries of the always now tightly confined area, expanding the green of plant life, mature skyward stretching trees, exposed patches of granite and fertile soil underneath stretching, limitless in every direction. I try to feel living when you were here, to extend my feelers into that densely alive history. And I imagine you while I try. I imagine the rustle and murmurings of nearby family members. I imagine inhabiting simultaneously alertness and deep ease, within an alive sound and smellscape of verdancy, weather, heat, breeze, dirt, insects, and small animals scampering. I notice the abundant gift of acorns thick underfoot. I'm conscious that this land belonged to you the way that you belonged to it. And I attempt to invite such conviction about myself. But immediately, I'm aware of how drastically smaller the bit of alive land that I stand on is. This is what we have done to you, just as we have done it to your home, reduced you to something so much smaller than the whole of you, destroying our opportunity to be informed by your way of living on this land as part of it, at peace with it. This land, this Sacramento Valley, oak forest, tule reed, and long grass-covered hills land, bordered by waters carrying the mountain's clear snowmelt into vernal pools and winding delta channels on their way to the sea. I come from peoples who treated you the way they treat this land, as something to control, exploit, and destroy for their own gains. I pledge to you, my sister, to seek justice for you, for these lands, for all the kin to whom this land belongs and whom the land would claim as well. I pledge my hands, my feet, my mind, my heart, my ears, my nose, my eyes, and my voice to justice for you.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together listening.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together listening.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together listening.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
Do you already know your existence? Who and how you are is in and of itself a contribution to the people and place around you. Not after or because you do some particular thing, but simply because of the miracle of your life. And that the people around you and the places have contributions as well. Do you understand that your quality of life and your survival are tied to how authentic and generous the connections are between you and the people and the place you live with and in? Are you actively practicing generosity and vulnerability in order to make the connection between you and others clear, open, available, durable? Generosity here means giving of what you have without strings or expectations attached. Vulnerability means showing your needs. The biggest thing I've learned from nature is the importance of relationships. An ecosystem isn't just a list of living things, squirrel, tree, bee, flower. It's the set of relationships between those things. The squirrel lives in the tree. The bee pollinates the flower. In terms of organizing, this means that a given social movement isn't a list of organizations or campaigns or even individuals. It's the set of relationships between us all. Our survival depends on the relationships we build. my actions and inactions affect everyone and everything around me. We all play our role. We all affect each other. Some roles and strategies may seem insignificant or ineffective, but altogether, all our different tactics and strategies and roles can get us what we need to survive and to thrive.
Palestinian brothers and sisters, I will not pretend to know your struggle and your situation. I'm sorry that this situation has been brought upon you. I'm sorry that the help has not been what it should be. I'm sorry that you are living in fear because of the oppressors who have taken the lands that are so precious and sacred. I see you. I'm sorry that the Israeli forces are trying to drive you from your homes with generations of family history. The ideals your oppressors hold do not stand a chance against the weapons of mass construction you are as a community. When it feels as if your history has been erased and your future will be too, I hear you and I will fight with you. We will fight for you, your families, your children, your future generations, your home. We will stand with you, sing with you, pray with and for you, to try to hold you and keep you strong. Even though I do not come from a place with connection to your land and your home, I will do all I can to respect it and bring power to you to protect it. Palestine, you have a right to live and live in peace. Stay strong and hold our hands as we navigate this together.
Talofa, my name is Isamaeli Matafa. To my dearest Palestinian, I cannot say I know the feeling or say I know the pain you're going through, but I can only imagine what it's like not to belong to a place we call home. And not only that, to not have claims to our own bodies can often feel like a heavy burden. I can hear your cries, I can feel your passion, but what struck me the most is your strength. The strength to fight and stand for what is right. The strength to not have someone else, a colonizer, dictate your worth or tell you where you belong. I send you love and prayers, my dearest brothers and sisters, longing for a place to be called home. I stand not only aware of your cries, but in action to fight for humanity, not just for certain people, but for the world belonging to everyone. May the fire within you continue to burn, continue to ignite more changes for the betterment of the world. May the fire cleanse, and may the fire bring light into darkness, and may the fire fuel and ignite us into transformational change for all. Soifua Maia Manuia, my brothers and sisters.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together fighting.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together fighting.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
How shall we come together?
We shall come together fighting.
When shall we come together?
We shall come together now.
Come to the time in our service where we practice some of these concepts that we're engaging. So today, in our time of emerging connection, we take a moment to imagine and embody the practice of interdependence as we carve out space to move at the speed of relationship. This week, we are inviting you to explore interdependence through movement by participating in mirroring each other's gestures. In a moment, we will open breakout rooms and give space for you to spend a few minutes making simple gestures or movements that your partner can echo as closely as possible in time, and vice versa. After a few minutes, we invite you to spend some time reflecting together about this practice, asking yourselves what it teaches you or shows you about interdependence and its expression in transnational solidarity. We'll be in breakout rooms for a total of about 5 minutes. So let us go to practice our interdependence.
I think everyone who's going to break has broken.
Did you want to do some mirroring, maybe?
Yeah, I think that I think that works.
Awesome. Shall I follow you, or would you like to follow me?
I'll follow you.
Or both.
Or both. I think there's an interesting things to be gained by doing both. Welcome back, Dr. Rosario.
We're just doing a mirroring exercise. Would you like to join someone in a breakout room or stay in here with us?
How about I stay here since the group's probably already are in a groove. Sorry, I had to drop out real quick and then jump back on. So, or I can jump in. Whatever. Is there a room that needs more participants?
Yeah, everyone has at least 2, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Let me just make sure. Yeah,
Beautiful. I did catch the music. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. So beautiful. Maggie, you're just stretching all the ways of your worship wonderfulness. It's like so fun to see.
Truth.
It's it never gets normal watching like watching video of like multi-track video of myself.
That's probably good.
That's fun. I will say that, so it's been fun to watch you grow in your worship practice, but I very, very, very much miss your communion bread. I miss your communion bread.
I miss baking it for people.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That is one part of the worship elements that I'm like, oh, I enjoyed that because I knew it was made with love and care. And yeah.
For sure.
I don't always get that in church. A lot of times it's like, oh, the Safeway tag is still on there.
Have y'all's if y'all do any like in-person worship, have they been using like those little communion pre-packs?
I haven't seen that, but that makes sense.
No.
Is
it like
you just tear open the
yeah, there's like the worst little wafer.
A little like juice glass.
Yeah. Sometimes they play around and make it look like a chalice, and the bottom half contains the bread.
Oh wow, I've not seen those.
See, those are people who don't value food. Like who don't. It's like it's just an element, but I'm like, but theologically, the way you make your bread, Maggie, makes so much more sense in the experience.
There's this wonderful theology of making food for people.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. The recipient can feel that. You can tell the difference. Anyway, it should affect all of our worship elements. Fun. What's the mirroring project? Like what's the exercise?
I just sent folks a note to let them know we're going to come back in a minute, but we were just doing basic like kind of body mirroring to see what it would teach us about interdependence and transnational solidarity. Any observations, Maggie, while people rejoin us?
So the petulant child in me, the perpetual youngest sibling, has sort of the is sort of giggles in the background at like copying, like directly copying someone and like very precisely copying someone.
I love it.
But I think it's just, but like the part of me that's really in it also like wants to laugh because there's something amazingly joyful about paying so much attention to someone and like the little ways they move, and feeling it as you replicate it.
Maggie, were you the sibling that was like, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you?
It really varied. I think it's like the I think part of it was definitely like the ADHD autism spectrum, not like diagnosed till age 23. Or was I 24? Oh crap. I was 24. Oh Lord.
Now, just so you know.
What?
I'm going to bring folks back now, just so
okay.
You know. Thanks, friends. Maybe.
I don't know if welcoming folks back in Addison.
Great. Welcome back. I invite you to join your hearts and voices together while we're remaining muted and singing our song of sending, which is I Need You to Survive.
I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I pray for you, you pray for me. I love you, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words of my mouth. I love you, I need you to survive. I pray for you, you pray for me. I love you.
Apparently, we were not meant to sing the rest of that song today. We'll just have to hold in our hearts how much we need each other to survive. Before we move on to our benediction, I just wanted to offer a couple of other ways that we could be in this work of interdependence together. Right now, Congress is in the midst of considering a bill, HR 2590, that's entitled Defending the Human Rights of Palestinian Children and Families Living Under Israeli Military Occupation. And the bill is intended to ensure that US tax dollars no longer fund the unlawful seizure, appropriation, and destruction of Palestinian property. So you can support our Palestinian kin by reaching out to your congresspeople and asking them to support the bill, creating international pressure to stop the demolition of villages near Jerusalem. You can check out the link to the bill description and where your congresspeople are on it so far in the chat. And also today is a day of action to support the Indigenous Peoples Day 5, a group of Indigenous women and two-spirit protectors who protested the sainthood of Junipero Serra by removing his statue at the Mission San Rafael, and who are now facing felony charges. So please consider calling the Marin County DA's office and imploring them to drop the charges. The phone number is in the chat. Or you can email the Marin County Board of Supervisors, who are in charge of funding for the DA's office, at the email that's also in the chat. Or you can sign the petition that is going to be delivered to the district attorney's office, and the link is in the chat for that. So please take a moment to do these actions, to take part in this kind of interdependent by fostering our connection and solidarity with our kin. And now, beloveds, receive this blessing when we breathe together by Jan Richardson. We are blessed with a blessing we cannot speak by ourselves. We are blessed with a blessing we cannot summon by our own devices, cannot shape to our own purpose, cannot bend to our own will. We are blessed by the blessing that comes when we leave behind our aloneness, when we gather together, when we turn toward one another. We go from this place with the blessing that blazes among us when we speak our vulnerabilities, when we finally listen into each other's need, when we breathe together at last. Amen. I invite you to go in peace or to stay and share any announcements you might have with one another.
Hi, it's William. I dropped a lavender lunch invitation in the chat with the link.
This is Sharon. This is Michael. I just put in the chat that Congresswoman Barbara Lee and Congressman David Price from North Carolina just issued a public statement letter to the State Department on the land confiscation taking place in Wadi Fakim, which is the village that we partnered with Friends of Wadi Fakim. And they had a total of 21 Congress people signing on to that. If people are interested more in that, you can talk to me or email me. But it's a campaign we're working on, as we speak. And we're working very closely with Congresswoman Barbara Lee's office on this. We're very hopeful that the intervention will prevent land confiscation that's impending there right now. And for Methodist students, I want to remind you that we're having our gathering tomorrow at 2 o'clock, our monthly gathering. And thank you, Sharon, for your wonderful leadership for this worship and the students who participate as well. Very touching.
Thank you.
Speaking of participation in worship, if you find that it is strange and uncanny as I do to see 3 versions of me doing chorale, get in touch with Andrew Jameson about being a participant in our virtual choirs, recording music, being on that email loop, and if you hear someone singing in one of your classes or something, maybe give them a nudge.
Maggie, I'm going to get in touch with Capitol Records.
Love it. Love it. Thank you all. Any other announcements?
I really enjoyed that trio.
That
Yes.
song was great.
That's
That was
beautiful.
fabulous.
Nice work.
It's the one time we get to clone ourselves, right?
The many voices of Maggie.
Yeah. I'm surprised you weren't doing all 4 voices.
I'm grateful for Professor Herman's Webster getting in on that tenor or baritone line.
Right on. All right, dear ones. Thank you so much for today.
Sharon, let's see. I don't know that we have any graduates though on here because we're meeting again next Tuesday.
I think that's right.
The 19th.
Yep.